difficult. Now, my question to you is this. If you're looking to come into America and we already understand you invest in real estate. Now you're looking to invest in paper assets. Is it better, once again, and you decide to go down the LLC route to invest in, tell us a bit about the capital gains you pay, you're going to be responsible for. Are there capital gains? What is the capital gains like? Is there a short-term holding or a long-term holding? Are there advantages to day trading? Because a lot of people talk, oh, we just day trade, but what they're not thinking about is the tax implications of day trading.
Yeah.
Right? I know that there are tax benefits when you hold the stock for a certain period of time, and sometimes when you day trade too much and you're not thinking of the tax implications, you might actually day trade yourself to a loss in addition to whatever risk you're wearing. So tell us, is it the same for the same thing you've explained for properties? Is it the same thing for stocks, for trading paper assets? What is the difference?
Okay, so first of all, capital gains could either be short or long term.
Mm-hmm.
If it's short term, those are for assets you held within.
No, so now
under
capital, is it capital gains generally, or the one for property, or the one for stocks?
So we have capital gain taxes regardless. Okay. When you sell, you get a capital gain.
Okay.
So what capital gain is? I invested my money in something, I sold, and my capital I had is a profit, but because it's not really like a business that you run day to day, maybe it could be like a passive investment, it becomes capital gain. So it's not, I'm not actively trading, I'm not actively involved in that business. You have to put a number of hours in to make that business like we have passive investment, we have active investment. Active business, you are trading or you are doing a business. At the end of the year, you report your income, put in your expenses. If you have a profit, if you are a corporation, pay your 21%. If you are an LLC or a disregarded member, a sole proprietor, what happens that it moves into your personal taxes and you can pay between 0 to 37%, depending on where your tax bracket falls.
Okay, let me hold you on that. So for an LLC, if you trade your capital, basically, again, let me go to because I know this can be a bit technical for some of us. When you buy a stock, let's deal with stock now. You buy a stock for $100. You sell it for $120. You made $20 on that stock. If you're buying those stocks in your personal name, then it goes to part of your income tax, right?
Okay, yeah. So it's capital gains.
Regardless. Okay, it's part of a capital gains, and you're going to be paying taxes between how much? What's the bracket again?
So if you buy the stocks in January of 2024 and you sold for the same year, this 2025, I bought the stock in January, I'm selling today, is less than a year. That's a short-term gain. Short-term gain between 0 to 37%. How that works is, keep in mind, short-term gain, it's taxed as an ordinary income. So my first 10,000 is at 10%. My next 20,000 at 15%, all the way go all the way through to 37%. That's how that works. Short-term gain. If it's more than a year, then it becomes a long-term investment. When I sell, then I have a long-term capital gain. The long-term gain is taxed between 0 to 20%. That's
20%. Okay.
Yes, that's the cap on that. Still depending on your income. That's the cap on that. So if you, like I said, if you now trade it, keep in mind capital gains only comes in when you make a profit. I cannot capital gain when I have a loss. So when I have a loss, I can't pay taxes on losses, right? But if I'm a US resident and I file, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. If I'm a US resident and I file taxes in the US and I sold an asset and I have a loss on that asset, and I have other income in the asset, I can take a capital gain loss of up to $3,000 per year until when I'm able to face it out. That's how that works. But if I sold assets and I make a profit, that's when and it's a short term, that's when the 0 to 37% comes in. With a long term, that's when the 0 to 20% comes in. That's that. So if I'm an LLC, even if I'm an LLC, I must be actively trading to be able to write off my trading as a business. I don't know if that makes sense. Regardless, it's still capital gains.